All right, let's get right into it. Hollywood is just buzzing right now over this bombshell news. Amy Schumer and her husband of 7 years, the chef Chris Fischer, are officially calling it quits. But you know how these things go. The official story is almost never the whole story.
And the way she announced it was, well, it was pure chaos. Amy posts this old photo with a caption that literally starts with blah, blah, blah. Now, that is a classic Amy Schumer move, no doubt. But a jokey, typo-filled post like that, it just screams that there's a lot more happening behind the scenes than just some simple, friendly split.
Exactly. So while the official post says they still love each other and they're going to co-parent their son, Gene, insiders are already spilling all the details. So what's the real story hiding behind all that blah, blah, blah? Well, let's get into the first huge theory.
So a lot of this seems to come down to Amy's massive physical transformation. I mean, she's been super open about her weight loss, and now sources are claiming this whole glow-up is actually at the very heart of the divorce. Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting, because you've got this direct contradiction. In her own announcement, Amy jokes that the split is not because she lost a bunch of weight and now thinks she can, do better. But then an inside source told the Daily Mail in these brutally simple terms, she got skinny, she is over it. Wow. That is a pretty big difference in stories.
And you have to remember, Amy's not alone in this, not by a long shot. She is part of this huge Hollywood trend. We've seen these incredible transformations with people like Oprah, Rebel Wilson, and Sharon Osbourne. It's all part of this Ozempic-fueled wave that seems to be shaking up personal lives just as much as it's shaking up careers.
And to be fair, Amy's been really transparent about it all. She admitted she tried Ozempic, but said the side effects were so awful she was literally bedridden. So she switched to another drug, Mounjaro, and that's what led to her dramatic new look. This really adds a lot of weight, no pun intended, to the whole theory that this physical change sparked a much deeper one.
But, a transformation like that doesn't just break up a perfectly happy marriage out of nowhere. It usually shines a big, bright light on cracks that were already there. So let's take a look back at their history and see how this all adds up.
Their whole relationship was a total whirlwind from the get-go. They met back in 2017, got married in a secret ceremony just a few months later with A-listers like Jennifer Lawrence and Jake Gyllenhaal there. Then they had their son Gene in 2019, and even did that seemingly adorable cooking show during the pandemic. From the outside, it really looked like a perfect, quirky Hollywood match.
But Amy was also incredibly open about the challenges they faced. Chris was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, and she talked about it a lot in her comedy. She often described his brutal honesty as both a blessing and a curse, and she hinted that after 7 years, that kind of unfiltered truth really started to wear her down.
And let's not forget, Amy has been fighting some serious health battles of her own. She's dealt with debilitating endometriosis for years, and more recently, Cushing's syndrome, which is what caused that facial puffiness people were commenting on. Her big weight loss actually happened right as she got that condition under control. So when you put all of that history together, the signs that this was ending were actually hiding in plain sight for months. You just had to know what you were looking for.
And this lays it out perfectly. First, they stopped showing up on red carpets together last June. That's a classic sign, right? Then, in November, she just scrubbed her entire Instagram feed, deleted every single photo of them as a couple. And finally, she started posting all these photos showing off her new figure, and guess what was missing? Her wedding ring.
And according to sources, this wasn't just a physical thing. An insider said her whole personality shifted. They said she became lighter in spirit and started wanting more out of life. That really suggests that as her body changed and her health improved, her whole outlook on her future changed too.
And as that personal relationship was falling apart, they started quietly taking apart their shared life, starting with some really, really expensive real estate. So a huge piece of this puzzle is this number right here, $12 million. That is what they paid for their famous Brooklyn Moonstruck house. It was supposed to be their forever dream home.
But then, right before the divorce news broke, they quietly sold that dream house at a loss. I mean, selling a multi-million-dollar property for less than you paid for it is a massive financial hit. And it's usually a sign that a couple needs to get rid of their assets and separate fast.
So, the house is sold, the news is out there, and the big question becomes, what happens now? What are all the messy details they still have to figure out? And yeah, there are a lot of unknowns. Is there going to be a custody fight over their son? Amy's worth tens of millions, so is there a prenup? And is that going to get ugly? Sources are saying she's ready for her next chapter, But does that mean she's going to start dating right away? And, of course, the juiciest question of them all. Who's going to be the first one to turn all this drama into a tell-all book or a new stand-up special?
All of this just brings us right back to that central mystery. After 7 years, a kid, and building a life together, what was the one thing that finally broke the marriage for good?
So what do you think? Was it the divorce body glow-up that made her feel like she just outgrew the relationship? Or was it years of clashing personalities and a kind of honesty that just became too much to handle? Or maybe it was just the insane transformative pressure that Hollywood puts on everyone. Whatever the real reason is, one thing is for sure, the punchline to this story is still being written.